literally set and match.
Oh, because it's like tennis.
Yes. That was cute, wasn't it?
I see what you did there. Let's welcome, shall we, to the show. Frank LeBoeuf joins us, Pablo still with us, and Stevie Nicol with us as well. The walking wounded. More from Stevie in a moment. But Pablo, I've got to start with you. What a performance this was from your former side.
What a great performance that was from Man City. They absolutely destroyed Manchester United, especially in the 45 minutes. Do you know what? When I first came to the club back in 2008, before the takeover, I never thought I was going to see Man United fans living at halftime in some derby games after 13, 14 years. That's incredible. It tells you how good this Man City are at the moment. They're flying. Haaland, Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, the whole team playing some amazing football, but the difference between both clubs are really, really big at the moment.
Yeah, complete night and day, Stevie. That first half performance was a bit special.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about getting everything spot on. And quite frankly, if it hadn't been Manchester United, I don't care what team it was, City on the form they showed in that 45 would have beaten anybody and would have been 4-0 up against anybody, in my opinion. I mean, the passing was spot on, the pace of the pass was spot on, the movement was spot on, the finishing was spot on. I mean, every single thing they did or tried came off and was absolutely perfect. I mean, 4-0 actually flattered Man United, let's be honest, at half-time. So, yeah, I've not seen a performance like that for a long time. Absolutely breathtaking.
Is it full moon tonight, Stevie? That's quite a beard that has developed over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Honestly. I tell you what, I just want to go like that and claw my face.
Yeah.
Is that itchy?
It really suits you.
I can't shave.
Well, the good thing is it's all coming in at the same time.
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
Frank, how would you have fancied defending Erling Haaland?
Well, again, I said nowadays, lately, and since he signed for Manchester City and maybe before with Dortmund, the guy's an alien. It's impossible to cope with the guy. He feels that the ball is going to come in a place, he tracks you to another place, change his mind, go far post and get the ball, and only him can score a goal like that again. I mean, De Bruyne assist is great on the second goal, of Haaland. But you have to launch your leg, and only a tall guy like him can reach that. You know, like he scored the other goal with the high volley. He's fantastic. He's right now the best striker in the world. Simply like that. And I have to join Stevie on saying that any club in the world, I think, would have been around 4-0 half-time against Manchester City today. I don't try to make Manchester United defeat less painful, but that's the reality of it. I mean, the team, the way they played, the way they found themselves, each other, and the way they finished the action was spot on. That's a fantastic 45 or even more, 50 minutes that I saw in my life. That's fantastic.
Let's take you through some Haaland stats then, shall we? 8 games it took him to score 3 hat-tricks. Compare that to Michael Owen, who had the previous record of 48. Van Nistelrooy 59. Fernando Torres at 64. He's phenomenal, Pablo.
I was looking at that stat, and that is ridiculous, isn't it? He's a beast. He's everything that you want from a number 9. I say this many times. He's fast, clinical, he can powerful, and it's impossible to defend at the moment. Haaland, strong in the air, in the 18-yard box. It's amazing. Do you see from the corner today? The header was, how you can. It was. I think Eriksen was with him doing man-to-man marking. You cannot put Eriksen with him. You have to put, I don't know, Varane, someone else. But it's still impossible to defend when he's just start running, use his arm and everything, and he's a beast. It's impossible to stop him.
Varane was, of course, off the pitch for that corner. A lot of people cared about him lying in the middle of the pitch.
Okay. Maybe someone else. I don't know.
But Dan,
come on.
Yeah, go on, Frank.
Dan, the thing is that's absolutely crazy that the fact that we're only talking about Haaland, where Foden scored 3 goals and made 2 assists. And it's like his performance has been faded by the excellency of Haaland, where Foden, young player, fantastic player, scored a hat-trick in a derby with 2 assists and been the man of the match, but everybody talks about Haaland. That's crazy.
I was getting to Foden, Frank. We haven't finished the conversation. We still got things.
Too late.
we still got time to talk about Philip Foden, who was, as Frank said, exceptional again today, Stevie. The finishes in particular were world class.
I was talking to Matt Donaldson earlier, and he was talking about Haaland, and then he said, the supporting cast were brilliant as well. I'm like, supporting cast? Phil Foden, the supporting cast, De Bruyne. I mean, again, it just shows you. Yes, of course we're going to talk about Haaland, but it just shows you how strong that City are. You know, you talk about strength and depth. If Haaland somehow is either off form or isn't playing, they've still got another 4 or 5 players who you know and think are going to score goals. And Foden showed you. You know, you think about the power of Haaland. Well, you talk about a left peg, you talk about a brain and a sweet touch. I mean, that's what Foden's goals were all about. Just a real footballer, a pure footballer with a football brain.
Pablo, I know it's easy when they're winning, but there seems to be a great spirit amongst this team. We saw Haaland and Foden, everyone joking after the match. And I know you just won 6-3, but if you compare it to maybe somewhere like PSG, where we've discussed a lot about some of the disjointed nature of that dressing room compared to what's at City.
Well, some of the lads been for a while now at the club, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Foden, which is a young lad who came through the academy, and I have to say I'm very pleased to see him doing well, because after the club been spending big money on players, on big names, he's a local lad, a player from Manchester, and he loves playing for Manchester City, and that connection with Haaland and Julian Alvarez, all the young and new players, is simply brilliant. You could really see that they enjoy the football, of course, in the way they play, they dominate the games. If you don't enjoy like that, then stop playing football. But it's great. That connection and the team spirit is simply amazing to see.
If I can say something about Phil Foden that I think was perhaps the most impressive thing. Game is 3-0, right? You've already scored a goal. Manchester City are dominating. Now there's the opportunity for the counter. A lesser player in a lesser team with a lesser mentality, as Erling Haaland goes down the left-hand side, you don't do the full sprint that Phil Foden showed, that sort of desire to get to the back post. Now, he's even with Malacia at the point in which he starts his sprint. And he says, you know what, I'm going to get to that far post. I'm going to make this game 4-0 because I know that guy is going to find me. And if I make the run, I'm going to have a tap-in finish. Now, there's an amount. Now, obviously, sitting back now, you say, well, obviously you're going to make that run. Obviously you're going to do the tap-in. But a lot of guys don't do it. Defensively, Malacia didn't do it. Manchester United didn't run, and they were already losing 3-0. They didn't show that sort of pride for their own performance that a kid who's already scored, they're already leading 3-0, he showed it. That he wanted to get there first before other people so that he could score a goal. And then the joy that you see from Foden, from Haaland, enjoying each other. When they score a goal, they turn right around to the guy who just provided the assist, and they go and enjoy it together. This is a team that is enjoying each other's company, not only because they're playing well together, it's because they like each other.
Yep.
And while some people may say that that's not important, in moments where things get tough, when things tend to push you, when you get high pressure, the fact that you care about the guy next to you, I think that keeps a group together and will be important for Manchester City in games that will be tougher than the one they had today.
Let's talk Manchester United, Stevie. What was the worst thing that they did today? Where did they get it wrong?
Well, I think Ten Hag has to take the blame for picking the wrong team. You know, it's everybody's talking about, well, they've had two big games against Liverpool and against Arsenal, and they won them both. But the key is they were at home. And in both games, they defended for their lives. They had to put their body on the line and make challenges and tackles and block shots. But you can do that when you're at home. When you go away from home to a place like City and you start off and everybody knows the game's going to be Man United are going to sit deep and try and counter, well, then you better have some guys in the middle of the park in particular that can defend. So you can't play Christian Eriksen. And you can't play Bruno Fernandes. You can't play two of them in a three and expect to be competitive in the middle of the park. So I think, no question, that was the biggest thing for me. They got that completely wrong. As far as the rest of it, I'm not sure we can point too many fingers at United because they got blown away in the first half. I've already said that it wouldn't have mattered. The kind of form that City were in. You know, people will argue and say, well, there was no challenges. Well, let me tell you, the pace that the ball was moving around City players, you can't get there. You can't get there. And when you can't get there, you can't afford to step out and leave a hole. And so they end up getting stuck between two stools, basically. And because City was so good, you're 4-0 down, the game's done. I would say, by the way, Manchester United have actually come quite a distance. If you think of the absolute shambles and the fact that they threw the towel in away at Brentford early in the season before Ten Hag got there, I mean, they packed it in, they threw it in. They wanted nothing to do with it. Now, yes, they did get a drubbing, but they didn't stop. They kept going. So I think we've got to give them credit for that. But I think ultimately Ten Hag certainly picked a wrong midfield.
Ten Hag obviously was in charge for that Brentford game and he made them run. He was asked in the press conference, are you going to make them run again? And he said, well, that wasn't the case this time. You were just kind of outclassed. But the big question mark when people saw the starting 11 is why isn't Casemiro in?
Right. Well, why do you bring Casemiro in? If
Ten Hag was asked about this, by the way, and he said it's not that Casemiro isn't doing what I want him to do, it's that McTominay is doing very well at the moment.
Oh, well, fantastic, great, okay, delicious. Now you convinced me. Now you got me, Ten Hag. Now you got me. Why do you bring in a player like Casemiro? If this game wasn't absolutely curtailed for what Casemiro does, isn't this exactly what he does and has done over the course of his career? And you bring him to provide that protection for a back four. If there was ever a time that a back four needed protection, was today. And if you need to play the two of them on a double pivot with McTominay and Casemiro so that you get the legs of McTominay and then you get the experience of Casemiro, then do that. Sacrifice some things offensively because you know that you're in for a fight. Not necessarily a physical fight, but a fight in terms of how do we cover spaces. Well, you need people that know how to do this naturally. Casemiro is that guy, one of the best in the world in doing it. I have no idea why he's sitting on the bench.
Do you agree, Frank?
I totally agree. I mean, you can dream about, in one counter-attack with Rashford, Sancho or Anthony scoring a goal. But you have to be solid in the middle of the park to make sure that you can defend well and you can go to the war with something big and strong in the middle of the park. And he didn't. Of course, Casemiro was the easy choice for that game. He didn't pick him. That was Ten Hag's biggest mistake today. It's like going to the war with flowers in your hand. Well, you're going to be destroyed. And it's what happened today with his tactic.
He was asked as well, Stevie, about not putting Cristiano Ronaldo on. And he said someone that's achieved what he had in his life, it didn't feel right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You go and ask any footballer sitting on the bench when the score is 5-1 or 4-0 and the manager looks down the line and says warm up, you're like, oh, you must be kidding. So nobody wants anything to do with it. Nobody wants anything to do with it, and I think that was he was showing Ronaldo respect, as he said. It was a good move not to put Ronaldo on in that situation.
Pablo, are you still getting into this starting 11?
I'm not too sure, no.
I don't think it'd be 3-3-3.
If Cancelo Walker get injury, maybe. Nah, incredible. The squad depth are incredible. They have two big players in each position. How Cancelo can play on the left, and then Walker got injury, then play on the right. They brought that Spanish lad on the left, and I don't think I can get anywhere near of these starting 11. Dan, maybe when I was at my prime, I could challenge for the right back spot, but it would be so difficult to get.
Is this the best City team that you've seen? Pablo?
Sorry, you're asking me, Dan. Yes. I would say they are probably the best City we have seen in the last 10 years. Man City in 2014, I think that was when we won the league with Manuel Pellegrini. That was an amazing team with Yaya, Torre, Kun Agüero, Silva, Nasri, all at their prime. We play some amazing football, but I think this Man City 11 are a different level. And yeah, I have to say that they are the best team we have seen.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.